Hi everyone, how are you? I am Mark, and this is episode 20 of Minecraft Stoneblock. I am down in our production area, and I have made a few changes down here I wanted to run through. The first thing I have done is I've upgraded our neutron collector farm quite a bit. Neutron collectors have EMC ratings, so making more of these was as easy as sticking one in our energy collector or energy condenser and duplicating it a whole bunch of times. So we're making more neutronium now, or neutrons, and you can see we have 6 blocks of neutrons, and that's 520 nuggets, which is enough to do our transmutation tablet and more. So that bottleneck is eliminated. I have also one of the things I did a few days ago was I set up a dragon egg mystical agriditions seed, which has been making dragon egg essence for us, which makes dragon egg chunks, which makes dragon eggs. So we have a whole bunch of dragon eggs sitting in our our storage system. So, last time I think we changed up how our resources were flowing through our system, and we're sending a bunch of stuff to this cyan chest, which is taking that stuff and dumping it into our energy condenser. So we're basically making more EMC. If you watch this, you'll notice that it's sending a lot of different stuff over now that it wasn't before. And that is because, I'm not sure, that's why. And that is because we had a bunch of chests in here that were overflowing, and they had void upgrades on them. And that includes pretty much all our metals. Well, not gold, but like nickel. Nickel was completely full, so a bunch of stuff was just getting voided. So what I have done is I've changed how this stuff works a little bit. Basically, all these drawers that are getting our base metals, which are all being generated by chickens, now have a hard cap of 256 blocks. And you can see lead is still trying to catch up there. But aluminum's full, iron's full, nickel is full, and copper is full. So all that excess metal that's coming from our chickens comes in here, and we get quite a bit, and it all has EMC values, and some of it has pretty high EMC values. And so I've just set up a system here where this is a higher priority, and I'm going through and turning all these up to 5 just to give myself a little working area to make sure they work. And then it's also dumping the excess into this cyan ender chest, which is sending it over to our energy condenser. And I am going to do this. It's going to take some time, but I'm going to do this for all our inputs to our storage system, because there's no reason to be voiding anything. There are a couple cases where we don't necessarily want to do infinite production. Namely, we don't necessarily want to infinitely produce snowballs because they have such a low EMC value. Other stuff that we don't want to infinitely produce is, for example, sand, because it's just got an EMC of 1, and I don't necessarily want to sit here and be grinding sand constantly. But for higher EMC stuff and stuff that we're generating anyhow, like all our mob drops and nothing here, but certainly some of the things coming through here. Now, a lot of these don't have EMC values, like none of the essences have EMC values, but over my plan is over where our chest actually comes out by our energy condenser. What I plan to do is let all our sort of excess trash flow into this chest, up into our energy condenser, And I'm just going to put a trash can here and connect it up with a low priority output. And that means that anything that comes in here that doesn't have EMC will have a place to go and it'll just get voided. So we're delaying our voiding to the last minute, and that whole system change will definitely give us more EMC coming into our EMC system. This is cranking along faster than it was because I think when I left yesterday, we had like 40 of these energy condensers in here, and we're up to, over 100 now, 110. So we're making EMC at a reasonable rate. It's just not breakneck speed. So I'm going to continue to work on upgrading our EMC system and doing more and more processing to give us what we need. And the next thing I want to do is the next step in, where is our quest book? I think I put it away. One of the things I had to do while changing all that, changing around all the drawers was dump a bunch of stuff on the floor. So I emptied my inventory as much as possible. If we look at our quests, I did a couple things between episodes. Namely, I made our dark matter armor, which is just crafting a standard set of armor recipes out of dark matter. And I also crafted our red matter armor. And red matter armor is similar. It's just you basically use the dark matter armor with more red matter to make this red matter armor. That leaves us with, I may as well claim them now that I started. That leaves us with the gem armor, and the gem armor is a little more complex if we look at how that's made. The gem armor, we actually have to make some Project E stuff, and we have to make Klein stars to make the gem armor. So that I started to look into between episodes, and one of the things I discovered about Klein stars is they don't stack, which makes them a real pain to manufacture. So I'm going to think about how I want to automate that, because I don't want to sit here and run through making Klein stars. They're just not something I want to do manually. So I'm going to think about how I want to automate that. I may just use some auto crafters in a line and a energy condenser to make the base ones, and then use the crafters to just craft those up higher and higher. Because I think it's like 7 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. So 6 crafters will do, and that'll be fairly straightforward. So that is the plan for those. There were a couple other things that I have taken care of that I wanted to show you. Let me just check off my list here and make sure I cover all the bases. Okay. One thing I did when I was setting up Britannia, which I sort of want to touch on because it affects a bunch of stuff, is I set up these ME interfaces down here. And I was making flowers the old-fashioned way when I realized that a while back we made these mystical flower essence seeds, and we have a ton of this mystical flower essence in here. And mystical flower essence, if we look, if I can find it, wow, you're really going to make me, there it is. Mystical flower essence can make all the Britannia flowers. So I threw crafting recipes for all the Britannia flowers into our AE2 system, and then I set up these ME interfaces with crafting cards, and I established each of them with a stack of 16 flowers. And what that does is, with the crafting card, an ME interface will request crafting if these inventories fall below the given level. So if we have less than 16 lime flowers in here, let's look at lime flowers. If we have less than 16 lime flowers in here, and the tall flowers don't count, it will automatically request more be made. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this, hopefully by pulling that out. And if we look in here, it has already crafted more flowers. And you can see that it just keeps crafting them. So that lets us establish a base level of a specific item in our AE2 system. And I did that with a couple of common things: crafting tables, chests, glass, pistons, hoppers, and our upgrade kits. And, we have room for expansion. And the way these items are made visible to our system is we put a storage bus on all these ME interfaces. So the storage bus can see what's in here, and we can pull it out from any terminal. I did neaten up the wiring down here a little bit, and I did some judicious smart cabling just to make sure I could track where all our channels are. And if we go upstairs and you look down through here, you can see there's another layer of ME interface and molecular assemblers below each of these towers. So each tower now has 8 ME interfaces and 32 molecular assemblers. I just gave us a little more auto crafting space because we were running a bit low. So that takes care of that. The next thing I want to do is what we've been working towards for a while. I am going to make our transmutation table. Oops, that is the wrong bag. And I went ahead and I've collected all this stuff. Neutronium ingots we get from our neutronium collector. HDPE sheets we make from the output of our gas burning generators. The pixie dust we got from the Alfheim portal from Britannia. Evil infused ingots we made in our enchanter. The night slime ingots we started last time and did those in our smeltery. Dark matter we know how to make. Ender stars were just combining some base ingredients, including dragon's breath. Quantum storage units are just crafting. And energy condensers we know how to make. And energy collectors we know how to make. So we have everything we need to make our transmutation table. We find that recipe, and before we do that, we take these out of our bag so we can actually find them. And transmutation table, we click this in, and you're not making. What? I am back, and as you can see, I have made the transmutation table. I kind of screwed up and stopped the recording and then didn't turn it back on, so we skipped a bit. The problem with the recipe, if we look at this recipe, oops, not place torch. If we look at the recipe for the transmutation table, it requires these quantum storage units. And what had happened was I had made the quantum storage units, but I had put them on the ground or placed them in the world. And I guess that fills them with air so they don't work in the recipe. All I had to do was run them through a craft cycle and empty them, and the recipe worked fine. So that is how we ended up with our transmutation table. And the way this works is you fill it with a bunch of EMC by putting items into this burn slot. And then let me grab something that has EMC. Let's just crash our game. So, back in a second. Well, one game crash later, we're back. So, the way the transmutation table works, as I was saying, is you can put items in this side and it learns how to make them. And you can put pretty much anything that has EMC in here and it will automatically make it, and you can just pull out as many as you want. And to feed it, you just stick materials into the fireplace down here, and that also learns items. So you can fill this with pretty much everything, and sort of end game play is you dump everything into your transmutation table and use the EMC to make all your stuff. It doesn't support auto crafting, so it's not, I don't really need to put ingots and stuff like that in. What I'm going to do is put all these sort of high-end items, including the Watch of Flowing Time and Dark Matter pedestal that I made while I had video recording turned off, in here. And the reason I made the Watch of Flowing Time and the Dark Matter pedestal is to speed up some production. So let's go take a look at that. So we're back down in our sort of production area, and this is our neutron collectors. And you know how slow they run normally. Let me turn these off. So Watch of Flowing Time is one of those cheaty endgame items that basically increases the ticks that blocks around them receive. And you can see they're off. The Watch of Flowing, or the neutron collectors, are very slow. We turn these on. We look at the neutron collectors, and suddenly they're running at a much faster speed. So I'm leaving these on so we can create a lot more neutrons, because eventually we want to make infinity catalysts. And infinity catalysts take they all take neutrons, and these have EMC, but the infinity ingots, well, that's interesting. You can make molten infinity. The infinity ingots take a ton of neutronium, and these don't have any EMC. So if we want to make infinity ingots, which we use to make a bunch of crafting items, like the infinity armor, which takes even more ingots, we need to make a bunch of infinity ingots, which we need to make a bunch of infinity catalysts. And so we need a lot of neutronium. So I'm going to let that run. And if we look at our storage, we have 11 blocks of neutronium right now, 101 ingots. And that's going up at a steady clip. And that's all good. So really our focus now that we're nearing the end of our quest lines is working on ways to generate more EMC. We have a couple other things to do. To make the transmutation tablet, for example, we need a bunch of infinity ingots. I thought this required killing the Chaos Dragon, but I guess not. Oh, that's the Tome of Knowledge. The transmutation tablet is just the table, but portable, so you can carry it around. And we will definitely want to do that pretty quickly. And actually, look at that again. Oops. Look at that again. Yeah, this is actually going to be pretty easy to make. I will do stuff like put red matter blocks and ender stars into our transmutation table. And that'll make a bunch of this much easier to deal with. These have EMC, so HDPE and neutronium ingots are the only things we're going to have to actually make. But before we do that, there is one thing that I want to take a look at and talk about before I decide what to do next. And that is over in the mining dimension. We have 2 tier 2 ore miners running over here. I upgraded this one in between episodes, and right now they're dumping all the resources into here, and that is extracting it all, and it's dumping some stuff that we want into this chest, which is sending it over to our storage system to get processed. And that's all fine. The rest of the stuff is going in here or into this trash can. And if you look on the trash can, we're throwing away, well, where is it? We're throwing away a lot of stuff. And if we look in here, ores don't actually have EMC values. But if we process these ores, this is basically all juicy EMC waiting for us to do something with it. And some of this doesn't. Like, I don't think apatite has an EMC value, and we're not doing anything with forestry, so that's really just waste. But like redstone ore, redstone has high EMC. So there's a ton of EMC just sitting here waiting, and what I want to do is set up a ore processing system that's going to take everything coming out of this and turn it into something useful if it can, and turn that into EMC by dumping it into our EMC energy condenser. And the other thing I've done between episodes is I have slowly been adding more emeralds to or emerald seeds to our farm, and we are producing emeralds at sort of a steady state here. So this is a good source of EMC. It's not fantastic, but it's good and it's steady and it's relatively easy to maintain in that it requires no maintenance. So I think I'm probably going to call this episode a bit short since I threw away about 10 minutes of video. There are probably some other things. Actually, that's what I can do. Just for fun, I wonder how awful it would be to put a dark matter pedestal up here. I'm not sure what the range on those watches is. If we do that, it looks like that harvester might be freaking out about the watch. Maybe? Let's go look down here. Yeah, something doesn't like the watch up there. Maybe the harvesters aren't happy about that. It looks like it's harvesting. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Let's just see what happens if I put it way out here. I don't even know if mystical agriculture crops are affected by the watch, so. It doesn't look like they are, actually. Oh, maybe they are. The harvesters do weird things as soon as I turn that on, though. So I don't think the harvesters play nicely with the watch. So I'll do a little experimentation there. Maybe there's a different harvesting mechanic that we can use that's actually going to work with those. Throw down this seed before I forget. Before I head out, I want to go ahead and open our loot chests that we got today. And I want to make sure I didn't forget any quests. I don't think I did. Nope, 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 and no. Okay, so we have 3 loot chests. Let's see what kind of stupid junk we get. We get some more solar flux reborn mirrors, which means we can make some more solar panels. We get some lithium dust, and we get some glowstone ingots. So, as expected, we got useless stuff as usual. Okay, on to the next thing. I'm going to call it there. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the episode. It was a little chaotic with crashes and buggy recipes, but we got through it. If you liked what you saw, please consider hitting like, subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell to hear about new videos as they go out, and leave me a comment if you have any thoughts on new EMC sources. Talk to you later. Have a great day.